come draw my May monthly spread with me. First up is the cover page, and this month's theme is Asian street food and snacks, more specifically Taiwanese food, and that's because I'm actually traveling to Taiwan for the first time this month. I noticed during my extensive Google research that a lot of the Taiwanese snacks have similarities with other ethnicities. I'm Chinese Indonesian and I grew up in Australia, and I've eaten quite a lot of these foods growing up. And you'll also see a lot of these dishes sold worldwide, even in Australia. So I drew the soup dumplings, and now I'm drawing these. I think it's really popular at the moment, but it's fruit on a stick and they've been dipped in the sugar so they become this candy fruit. I also drew bubble tea, which is my favorite drink in the whole wide world, and I am obsessed. Right now I'm drawing mochi. I try to get the stretchy, thick texture. If you've eaten mochi before, it's absolutely amazing, but very chewy and very stretchy. I also drew some peanuts because I think they sell a lot of peanuts in the street vendors. And next up is stinky tofu. I don't think I did too good of a job trying to draw how it's stinky tofu in comparison to other tofu, but later on I added on some sauce and some smelly lines. I also drew some hot tea, fried chicken, and pineapple buns. Next dish drawing is, I think, a Taiwanese classic dish, which is braised pork noodles. There's also a rice version, which I did draw later. And there's been a few places that sell this in Taiwan with Michelin stars, which I'm very keen to try. I've seen some food vloggers and TikTokers try these places out and it looks so yummy. I also drew the tea egg and this rice dumpling, which is a sticky rice wrapped in a banana leaf. And we have this in Indonesia and it tastes so good, so I'm keen to try the Taiwanese version. I added in some texture and details and I wrote what each dish is in English, and that's my May cover page done. Next up is my quote page. I also did a whole bunch of the Taiwanese snacks. I also drew a bunch of other snacks and dishes here. So I have the fried dough, which I personally love eating with my congee. There's some braised pork rice, pineapple cake, this tofu dish which I love, century egg and tofu, sausages, hot pot, and fried chicken. I actually really love all of these dishes, and I wrote the quote, "You don't need a silver spoon to eat good food," which really resonates with me. The world is your oyster, and you don't need to have different kinds of spoons or be born in a different kind of family to eat good food. Onto my monthly spread. I'm drawing the boxes for my calendar. I actually couldn't find a ruler, but I did find this cardboard strip which I used instead. It did a good job, but some of my lines are a little bit wonky, which is okay. Adds a bit of Each box is 7 by 7. I actually didn't measure it correctly because my Thursdays are crossing between the two pages, but that's okay for me personally. It's not too big of a deal because I feel like my Thursdays are generally chill. But if you don't want this and you are doing 7 by 7 boxes for your monthly spread in a A5 bullet journal, please start on the first column of dots, and that will avoid this whole scenario. I wrote the dates in a bubble on the top left of each box and wrote the days of the week above. Nothing fancy with my writing. I did want to be fancy on this page and spice it up, so instead of drawing food, I drew lanterns. There is this popular celebration in Taiwan where you write a wish on a paper lantern and release them into the sky, and your wish will come true. I hope they're environmentally friendly and that they don't hurt any animals or cause fires, but you never know, so I personally won't be partaking in this event, but I will draw it in my bullet journal. I did think that these lanterns were a little bit too boring. They blended in with everything, my calendar, the page, the white background, so I did add some colour. I used a yellow Tombow brush pen to make the flames that allow these lanterns to float into the sky, and I also used a few different different colors that I thought would look nice together and are relatively traditional colors like red, pink, or brown, and blue. I tried to blend the two colors, so the main color and the yellow flame color together without it looking too muddy and without it becoming orange. In the end, it did look good, but I was a little bit torn with this cover page. I feel like I either could have made it really colorful like what I did now, or kept it at that black, grey and white color scheme like the rest of my May spread. As you can see right now, I tried my absolute hardest to blend this color in with the yellow without looking too muddy or overpowering the yellow itself. It does look a bit patchy at first, but if you color over a few times and let it dry a little bit, the color does set and it does turn out a little bit better than what it does now. I might color in the background black, just so that the lantern a nighttime magical situation. I wanted to channel the Disney Tangled experience where Rapunzel sits on the boat with Flynn and looks at the night sky in awe with all the lanterns floating above her. So even though that's not Asian or Taiwan related, I did love that vibe, and it's lanterns, it's a similar thing. I did some black details on my lanterns and I drew a drop shadow on my calendar just to make it stand out more against the colourful lanterns and the white background. I love drawing a good drop shadow over any box, so my calendar boxes are the perfect example. And they're super easy and really fun to do, and when you're done it's really satisfying to look at. Next up in my May bullet journal section is my habit tracker. This month I have 6 habits that I do want to focus on or watch out for. So it is my vitamin intake, social posts, how much I drink bubble tea, how many times I eat out, how often I exercise, and how many nights that I get 8 and over hours of sleep. If you've seen some of my videos before, I actually was in love with drawing circles for the days, but this month I thought I would change it up and draw a similar grid plan as to my month. I did keep flipping back to see the calendar for inspiration so I could see how many squares I needed and what day the month starts on and finishes on. This was definitely easier to draw than the circles, and my hand did hurt way less. It was also really fun just drawing this because it was just the same movement and the same thing heaps of times. But if you don't like that, then this can get a little bit repetitive, so I recommend watching a movie whilst you're doing this. I certainly did watch it so I wouldn't get too bored. For the heading, I did ditch the lanterns and continued on with the food and snack doodles. There are a few reoccurring contestants here, some being the soup dumplings, the sticky rice wrapped in banana leaf, the tea eggs, bubble tea and the normal hot tea, braised pork rice, noodles and fried chicken. Some new snacks you'll be seeing here are the dried squid, scallion pancakes, and this dessert sweet ball, soup ball thing that I don't know the English name of. Something that I did really new this month is a mood tracker. In the past, I've never really tracked my mood only because I don't think I can do it on a daily basis, but I did experiment and do one last month and I noticed that it wasn't too bad, so I thought maybe this month I'll have its own small little section in my bullet journal. Continuing with the theme, I did some flowers on a branch, and each flower is one day, and I did 4 different colors to specify my mood. So I've got a purple that's sad, a red that is meh, an orange that is like playful, and a pink that's generally. It was really fun drawing the twigs around and sort of connecting all of the flowers together. I could just freehand it, which was nice. I also drew mood tracker in the same twig formation. Moving on to the top of that page, I had quite a lot of empty space and I sort of wanted to just record things like my spending, social, and Taiwan highlights. Next up is the final page of the spread, and it is the May dump. I kept very on theme and did the usual, so a whole bunch of snacks and food. I think bubble tea was the easiest for me to draw, so that's why I drew it many times throughout this. I did draw some new dishes like bingsu, green beans. Well, I tried to make them look like green beans. This over here is the Taiwanese blood sausages. I've also got the fried buns, pineapple, dragon fruit, and some tofu. I did my heading a bit more extra by thickening the lines to make them stand out a bit more. And there you have it. That is my Asian Taiwan inspired May bullet journal theme. I hope you liked it, and if you do, please comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you next month. Bye!